The Little Rabbit Who Wanted Red Wings by Carolyn Sherwin Bailey was first published in 1913. She claimed it was a Southern folk tale, but there don't seem to be any similar traditional tales out there. It's had many variations published since. This review will deal mostly with the book published in 1978 and illustrated by Jacqueline Rogers, but it was also adapted in The Elson Reader's Book 2 in 1920, illustrated separately in 1931 by Dorothy Grider, and illustrated more recently, and more creepily, in 1987 by Chris Santoro. There's even an animated short narrated by Shelley Duvall done in the style of the Rogers illustrations. As you might guess from all the republishing, it's a popular story. Those who love it tend to wax nostalgic and cite its morals of, be careful what you wish for, or just be yourself. But those two rather different messages get confused into a harmful mishmash. It starts out with a little white rabbit, who the author describes as a nice little rabbit, in a clear preference for typical rabbit features like a fluffy tail and red eyes. He's always wishing he was different. He wants a bushy tail like a squirrel, spikes like a porcupine, or webbed feet like a duck. But this constant wishing grates on his mother's nerves. Eventually his complaining is overheard by wise old Mr. Groundhog. In his questionable wisdom, he suggests that the rabbit visit a magical wishing pond. As far as I'm concerned, this is where Little Rabbit commits his only real mistake. Upon hearing this advice, he runs directly off to the pond without telling his oblivious mother. To modern audiences, the mother rabbit seems negligent, as she has no idea where her son is, nor does she seem to care. So Little Rabbit makes his wish at the pond and spends the rest of the day goofing off in the forest waiting for his wings to finish growing in. At sundown, he heads home and knocks on his front door, only for his mother to open it, stare him straight in the face, and declare that she doesn't recognize him because of his wings. What? No! Just no! The cartoon tries to excuse this behavior by having him turned around and bent over so she doesn't see his face, but even that is ridiculous because she is still seeing someone remarkably similar to her missing son. He's still a rabbit. He's even still wearing the same overalls he had on that morning. She should at least question this turn of events and not just assume Mr. Groundhog kidnapped him or he was eaten by Mr. Wolf or something. Nope, she really and truly does not know him, for she had not seen a rabbit with red wings before, and he wanders off either dejected or nonchalant, depending on the illustrator, to find somewhere else to sleep. After getting rejected by both the squirrel and the duck, he is finally recognized by Mr. Groundhog, the only voice of reason in this pastoral insane asylum, who lets him sleep on his uncomfortable floor for the night. He wakes up early in the morning to try out his wings, but due to lack of practice, he lands in a thorny bush. After some prompting by Mr. Groundhog, he decides that he was better off without the wings, despite the fact that he can, fly. No suggestion is made that Mr. Groundhog, who set up this whole thing in the first place, might go explain to the rabbit's mother what has happened, or even that Little Rabbit might try to talk to his mother himself in the clear light of day. Instead, Mr. Groundhog tells the child to go back to the wishing pond and wish the wings off again. So wait, what are the rules of this magic pond? Does Little Rabbit get infinite wishes? You would think he could just go home without the wings, bring his mother back with him, and wish the wings back on. But no, it explicitly says, Little Rabbit never ever wished to be somebody other than himself. The end. So let's look at our two possible morals again. Accept yourself for who you are. Why isn't it acceptable to be someone who wishes for change? Why does Little Rabbit need to excise this part of his personality? This makes the real message, accept that you have to suppress your hopes and dreams to fit in. Nope, not for my kids. Number 2, be careful what you wish for. This one falls flat because there's no logical connection between cause and effect. It's not an evil genius scenario where you get your $1 million in the form of gold bars dropped on your head. It's also not like there was a rule that he would have to trade his family for the wish. There's absolutely no reason why having red wings in addition to his original body should cause his mother and the other animals to reject him. What would happen if he lost a limb or something? Would his mother abandon him forever? What if he realized he was really a she? But I don't even need to consider the obvious problem of transgender issues to see the implications of this. My children should not be afraid I'm going to disown them if they get a haircut. There are some reviewers out there who see a slightly different moral. Be happy with the way things are and don't wish for something different. Okay, discounting the logic and reason issues, the book does a good job at showing that. But it's a terrible moral. I mean, it's great to appreciate the good things you have, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to change your world for the better. Go to college so you can get a higher paying job. Invent a new technology or medicine and improve the world. Just because people have always done things one way doesn't mean it's the best way. Even driving a car is a way of metaphorically having the legs of a horse. A lot of the positive reviews out there downplay the negative ones by saying, don't read too much into it, it's only a kid's story. But the negative reviews are often from adults who were traumatized by this book as children. This isn't a secret adult-only message. If I wanted to read too much into this story, I would say that maybe there's no such thing as a magical wishing pond. Mrs. Rabbit was just sick and tired of her child complaining, so she and Mr. Groundhog put a hallucinogenic drug in a pond in the forest and told her kid to go out there and drink it, and he thought he grew wings. Then everybody teamed up to gaslight poor little rabbit and pretend they didn't recognize him to teach him a lesson. "Oh, I have no idea who you are. Never seen you before in my life." And then the real moral would be, don't drink standing water or something. But that would be reading too much into this book. I want my kids to be happy with who they are, even if they like to make wishes. I want my kids to change, to become better people than I can imagine. Don't read this to my kids.